Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are opening up the files on a relationship that's really fundamentally changing our society. It's the human-animal bond.
Yeah, and this isn't just a quick look, is it? We're going deep.
Exactly. This isn't just about, cute pictures online. We're embarking on a full, multi-level deep dive here.
Right.
We're aiming to move from let's say, the simple, essential vocabulary you need right up to the critical analysis.
The psychology, the ethics.
The ethics, yeah, and the really profound societal implications of sharing our lives with companions that, well, they don't share our language.
It's a big topic, and the mission here, based on the source material you provided, it's really about becoming truly well-informed.
Yeah, informed about something that touches almost everyone's life in some way.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Because the sources, they don't just teach you, names of animals. They kind of force us to confront why this interspecies connection is so crucial, for human flourishing even.
So what we're doing is providing a shortcut to getting really up to speed on this.
Exactly. Balancing those necessary foundational facts, the what, with the intense critical analysis of the why and how, getting those aha moments along the way.
Okay, let's unpack this then. We absolutely have to start with the very basics to build our foundation. What exactly is a pet?
Right. Seems simple, but the sources draw a really clear line.
Which is?
A pet is defined as a domestic animal. That's key. Domestic. Living inside your home.
Okay, inside the home.
And specifically for the purpose of companionship and pleasure. Not for work, not for food.
Companionship and pleasure. Got it.
And crucially, treated as part of the family and requiring care from you.
Part of the family. That's a big one. So it's this reciprocal thing.
That's a powerful distinction, yes. Those words, domestic and companionship, really establish the boundary. We're definitely not talking about, say, a lion in a zoo.
Right, or even like a cow on a farm kept for milk.
Exactly. Different relationship entirely. We were talking about a reciprocal bond where care is exchanged for, affection and just their presence.
Okay. And this basic definition gives us the essential conversation starter, right? The first questions you ask someone.
Precisely. Do you have any pets? Simple, direct.
And if the answer is yes, the immediate follow-up is?
What kind of pet do you have? Gets right to the specifics.
Right. So to answer that quickly and confidently, you need level 1. The basics of companionship. And while globally it seems one animal still kind of rules the roost here.
Oh yeah. Dogs, universally recognized. The sources label them loyal and friendly.
Which earns them that classic title.
Man's best friend. It sticks for a reason.
So for the foundational vocabulary here, what do you need?
Okay, basics. A baby dog is a puppy. P-U-P-P-Y.
Puppy. Got it.
The main sound they make is to bark.
Which we usually write as?
Woof woof. Or sometimes bow wow, depending on where you are, maybe.
Right. And that universal sign of canine happiness, that physical thing they do.
Ah, yes, they wag their tail when they're excited or happy. It's this immediate visual cue. You see it, you know they're pleased to see you.
An instant signal of affection. Okay, so dogs covered. What about the flip side? The other giant of the pet world.
Cats, of course. Generally described quite differently. Words like independent, clean, often quieter than dogs come up a lot.
Right. They have that reputation for being a bit more aloof sometimes, but also very clean.
Exactly. The baby name here is a kitten, K-I-T-T-E-N.
Kitten, okay.
And their typical vocalization is to meow, M-E-O-W.
Meow. Simple enough. But I think for many cat lovers, the defining trait, the sound that really encapsulates them, is that special, soft, sort of vibrating noise they make.
Ah, yes. To purr. P-U-R-R. It's this soft, rhythmic, vibrating sound, usually when they're deeply relaxed or happy, content.
Right. And the sources often mention that sound itself is intrinsically calming for humans, too. It's like a little sonic symbol of peace in the house.
Absolutely. The purr is quite a physiological marvel, actually. But yeah, incredibly calming.
Okay. Dogs, cats, the furry giants. But companionship doesn't always require fur, does it?
No, definitely not. We absolutely have to cover the non-furry friends, too. Fish, for instance.
Right. Kept in a tank or sometimes a bowl. How are they usually described?
Less as interactive companions, more like a living piece of art. They're quiet. Watching them can be very relaxing. They're even used therapeutically sometimes, just for that calming visual presence.
Like moving wallpaper, but alive.
Sort of, yeah. Then you have birds, like a canary or a parakeet, usually kept in a cage.
And their main contribution to the household atmosphere is?
Their sound. Their action is to sing or to chirp. For many owners, this provides a really delightful, natural audio backdrop to the home. Cheerful.
Adds a bit of life, sound-wise.
Yeah.
Okay. And one more common one, especially for first-time pet owners, maybe kids.
Small rodents. Let's mention the hamster. They also live in a cage.
And they're famous for that one particular slightly amusing habit.
Right. Stuffing enormous amounts of food into their cheek pouches. It always looks kind of comical. They're small, often a first introduction to responsibility for children.
Okay, so that covers the main players. Dogs, cats, fish, birds, hamsters. We have the who and the what. But as you said, a pet isn't just a name or a type, it's an integrated commitment.
Exactly.
Which means we need to transition quickly into section 1, the practical commitment. The moment you say, yes, I have a pet, well, you're signing up for some serious, essential responsibilities.
That's the core realization, isn't it?
Huh.
Moving past just knowing the name means mastering the language of the responsible daily routine. This is the how of pet care.
And it seems to center around a few essential verbs. How many are we talking?
The sources highlight 5 key ones that cover the basics of daily care.
Okay, let's break them down. Number 1.
To feed. F-E-E-D. This means providing the appropriate pet food. Specialized dog food, cat food, fish flakes, whatever is right for that animal.
And it's not just occasional, it's a regular thing.
Oh, yeah. A crucial daily chore, usually on a schedule. It grounds the relationship in that act of providing sustenance.
Okay. Number 2.
To give water seems obvious, but ensuring clean, fresh water is available constantly is fundamental.
Right. Food and water, the absolute basics for sustaining life. Can't miss those.
Definitely not.
Okay, what's next? Is this one more specific?
Yes. Number 3 is mainly for our canine friends. To walk, W-A-L-K.
Taking the dog out. Why is this so necessary?
Well, it's crucial for exercise, obviously, but also for hygiene, toilet breaks, and for their mental stimulation. Sniffing around, seeing the world.
And the sources pointed out something interesting here. It's not just for the dog.
Right. This mandatory, often 1 to 2 times daily walk commitment is actually a huge health benefit for the owner. It forces you into your own necessary daily exercise routine.
Huh. I hadn't really thought of it that way. It's like forced health maintenance for the human. Clever. Okay, number 4.
Number 4 is to play with. P-L-A-Y. This is vital for building and strengthening that emotional bond. It's about giving attention and affection actively.
More than just petting them while you watch TV.
Exactly. Engaging with them. And the sources highlight that quintessential dog game. Fetch.
Ah, yes. Throwing a ball or a stick.
And the dog retrieves it, brings it back. It's active, high engagement bonding time. Good exercise, too, usually.
Builds that connection. Okay, and the 5th essential verb. This one sounds maybe less fun.
Yeah. Number 5 is the indispensable and often less glamorous part. To clean. C-L-E-A-N.
Cleaning up after them. What does this typically involve?
It varies a lot by species. For a cat, the main task is cleaning the litter box. That special indoor tray, usually filled with sand or specialized litter where they do their business.
Right. Gotta scoop that daily, usually.
Pretty much. For a hamster or a bird, it involves cleaning their cage regularly and replacing the bedding, the material they live on, like wood shavings or paper. Keeping their environment healthy relies on cleanliness.
Okay. Feed, water, walk for dogs, play, clean. 5 key verbs.
And we can use the source's fantastic example of, let's call him Max the dog, to see how these verbs narrate a full day of responsible ownership.
Okay. Walk us through Max's day using these verbs. Morning time.
Right. In the morning, Max's owner feeds him his breakfast and gives him fresh water, of course.
Yeah.
Then Max gets his proper morning walk outside. Exercise, sniffing, toilet break.
Okay. Then the owner goes to work or is busy. What does Max do?
Max probably rests, sleeps, conserves energy, waits.
Until the owner comes home. Evening time.
Exactly. In the evening, the owner comes home and crucially dedicates time to play with Max. Maybe some training, maybe a game of fetch in the yard or park. Quality time.
Builds that connection again after the separation.
Right. Then Max is fed his dinner. And before the owner goes to bed.
Another walk.
Usually, yes. A final, maybe shorter, walk for a last toilet break before settling down for the night.
Okay, that paints a really clear picture. That's a whole narrative arc of care, all built around those 5 simple verbs.
It really demonstrates the profound daily commitment required. It's not optional.
Absolutely. But the pet isn't just this collection of chores, right? It's an individual being, and that individuality radically changes how we talk about our relationship with them.
That's the perfect cue for Section 2, the individual companion. This is where we move from describing a dog generically to describing my dog specifically.
So this requires a different set of words, not verbs this time.
Exactly. Now we need key descriptive adjectives to capture their unique character, their personality.
Okay, let's start with energy levels. What if a pet loves to play constantly, like a young kitten attacking everything that moves? Or certain dog breeds?
That pet is playful, Playful. It suggests dynamism, high energy, and a need for lots of engagement from the owner.
Okay, playful. What about that core quality we mentioned with dogs earlier, that deep faithfulness?
Oh, yes. That's loyal, Loyal. This is a really deep, admirable trait, especially associated with dogs. It means they're always faithful, they stick by you, maintain an unwavering, constant bond.
It implies that emotional constancy that maybe humans really crave.
I think so, yes. It's very powerful. Now, for the ones who love cuddles,
The ones who are always trying to get close.
we use the adjective affectionate, Affectionate. These pets show their love openly. They want to be close. Maybe they love sitting squarely on your lap or nudging your hand for petting. Very demonstrative.
Affectionate. Got it. Okay, what about the ones that are, well, maybe a bit naughty, but
Yep.
in a cute way?
Yes, there's a word for that. Mischievous.
Uh-huh.
Mischievous. It's a bit tricky to spell.
Mischievous. Okay. What does it imply?
It means clever, but in a way that leads them to play tricks or be a little naughty. The source material pointed to the classic example of the puppy who steals socks and hides them.
Right. It's charming trouble, usually. The kind that tests your patience but makes you smile later.
Exactly. Charming trouble's a good way to put it.
Okay. And the total opposite of playful, the pet whose main hobby seems to be napping.
That would be lazy. Lazy. Pretty straightforward. Their favorite activity is sleeping. Think of that old cat who seems to sleep 20 hours a day.
Only gets up for food or to find a new sunbeam to sleep in.
Precisely. Lazy. So with just those 5, playful, loyal, affectionate, mischievous, lazy, you can already paint a pretty full picture of a pet's basic personality.
That's really useful. And this individual identity, this personality, it's not just nice to know, is it? The source is stressed. It's actually critical.
Absolutely critical, because the sources really emphasize the necessity of choosing the right match. The pet's personality and, crucially, their energy level must align with the owner's lifestyle.
Can you give an example of why that mismatch is such a problem?
Well, imagine you're an incredibly active person. You run marathons, you hike every weekend. You need a high-energy, playful dog who can keep up and thrives on that activity.
Okay, makes sense.
But if you lead very quiet, mostly home-centered life, maybe you work from home, you prefer reading to running, getting that same high-energy dog would be a disaster for both of you.
Right. The dog would be bored, frustrated, maybe destructive, and the owner would be stressed out.
Exactly. In that case, maybe a calmer dog, or perhaps a lazy, affectionate cat who just wants to curl up nearby, might be the perfect fit. Matching temperament is absolutely crucial for long-term happiness and success. Prevents pets ending up back in shelters, too.
That's a really important point, which brings us directly to acquisition. Once you've thought about the personality you need, how do you actually find your companion?
There are 2 primary paths people take, and both carry their own ethical considerations that the sources touch on.
Okay, what's the first path?
The first is buying from a breeder, Breeder. This is a person who specializes in, well, breeding a specific type or breed of animal, like someone who only breeds golden retrievers, for example.
Okay, a breeder. What's the main advantage of going this route?
The primary benefit cited is usually certainty. You have a good idea of the lineage, the likely health outcomes based on the parents, and the typical temperament traits associated with that specific breed. Predictability.
Right. You know roughly what you're getting in terms of size, energy, grooming needs, etc.
Pretty much. Now, the second path offers something quite different.
Which is?
Adoption from a shelter or rescue center. These are places that provide care for animals that have been abandoned, lost, or surrendered by previous owners. They need a new home.
So you're taking in an animal in need, giving it a second chance.
Exactly. The act itself is often seen as a powerful statement of compassion. You're saving a life, potentially.
And what's great about good shelters, the sources mention, is the staff.
Yes. Shelter workers are often really skilled at observing the animals and matching the pet's individual personality to the right environment.
So they can help guide you.
Definitely. They might say, okay, you have young children. This particular dog here is known to be very gentle, quiet, and great with kids. Or you live in a small apartment. This cat is very low energy and would be fine. They help ensure the fit works for everyone involved.
That matchmaking is invaluable. Okay, breeder or shelter, two main routes. But regardless of the route, there's a final thought on acquisition that the sources really hammer home.
Yes, and it's non-negotiable. Getting a pet is a serious, long-term commitment.
We're not talking weeks or months here.
No way. For dogs and cats, you could easily be looking at 15 years, sometimes even longer. It is not a temporary purchase or a whim.
It's basically like adding a family member for a significant chunk of your life.
Absolutely. It demands serious thought, research, and financial planning before you bring that animal home. It's a long-term contract of devotion.
That devotion, that contract, leads us perfectly into Section 3, pet health and well-being. Because once they're home, keeping them healthy is paramount.
Right. This is where the commitment translates into practical action and also into financial and logistical planning, all for your and their peace of mind.
So the first piece of vocabulary here is probably the most important professional in your pet's life, their doctor.
Exactly. The doctor for animals is called a vet, V-E-T. It's short for veterinarian.
Vet, got it. And where do you take your pet to see the vet?
Usually to a vet's clinic or sometimes a larger animal hospital. And just like with human doctors, you typically need to call ahead and make an appointment.
Okay, vet, clinic, appointment. Makes sense. Now, the core of responsible care isn't just reacting when they're sick, is it?
No, absolutely not. It's about preventative health.
Hmm.
The sources really stress the importance of initial and then regular vaccinations.
Vaccinations, like
Yeah.
shots or injections.
Yes, exactly. Injections that protect the animal from serious, often fatal diseases. Things like parvovirus in dogs or feline leukemia in cats. Essential first steps.
Okay. Vaccinations are key. What else falls under preventative care?
We can't forget the necessary routine treatments for parasites, both internal, like worms, and external, like fleas.
Fleas. Nobody wants those.
Definitely not. So regular treatments, maybe monthly pills or spot-on liquids, are vital elements of ongoing health maintenance that owners have to manage consistently.
And regular checkups too, right? Even if they seem fine.
Yes, absolutely. Annual checkups, at least, are essential for catching any potential issues early before they become serious, just like humans should have physicals.
Okay, so preventative is crucial. But sometimes, despite our best efforts, they do get sick. What then?
Then, you, as the owner or guardian, need to be a really good observer. You have to identify and then clearly articulate the symptoms to the vet.
Symptoms. Okay. What kind of things does the vet need to hear about? What are common signs something is wrong?
The vet needs specifics. Common symptoms might include a noticeable loss of appetite when your normally greedy pet suddenly refuses its regular food. That's often a big warning sign.
Okay, loss of appetite. What else?
Or serious gastrointestinal distress. Things like vomiting or diarrhea, those are usually clear indicators something isn't right internally.
Right, those are hard to miss. What about things that are less obvious, since they can't tell us, it hurts here?
That's the challenge. We have to look for physical or behavioral signs of pain. This could manifest as crying or whining, unusual lethargy, maybe they're hiding more than usual, or they might react badly or refuse to be touched in a certain spot.
So you need to know your pet's normal behavior to spot the changes.
Exactly. Clearly describing these symptoms, what you're seeing, when it started, how severe it seems, is absolutely key to helping the vet figure out what's wrong and determine the correct treatment.
And treatment could be anything from?
It could be medication, special diets, fluids, or in more serious cases, maybe tests like blood work or x-rays or even surgery.
Okay, now this level of care, especially unexpected treatments or surgeries, raises a really significant point.
Yes. The profound financial reality. Vet bills can be extremely expensive, especially for accidents or serious chronic illnesses. We're talking potentially hundreds or even thousands of dollars.
That's a huge burden for many people. So the sources recommend planning ahead for this.
Absolutely. You need a plan. The solution often suggested is pet insurance.
Pet insurance? Like health insurance for pets?
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah.
You pay a monthly premium, and the insurance then helps cover a portion, or sometimes all, of the cost for unexpected accidents or illnesses. Policies vary, of course.
And the main benefit here, besides the financial help?
The sources really highlight peace of mind, that calm feeling of knowing you can make decisions based on your pet's health needs rather than being solely constrained by cost. It allows you to prioritize their well-being without facing potential financial ruin.
That peace of mind is huge. And it really underscores that modern view of pets as true family members, doesn't it? You insure things that are valuable to you.
Absolutely. If we're willing to spend, say, $50 or $100 a month insuring our pets, we are clearly assigning them the financial and implicitly the moral value of a dependent.
That's a great point. And that moral duty, that sense of them being family, extends beyond healthcare into other logistics too, right? Like what happens when you go on holiday?
Exactly. You absolutely cannot just leave most pets alone for extended periods. So you have to make arrangements. One option is to hire a pet sitter.
Someone who comes to your home?
Right. They come in once or twice a day or sometimes even stay in your house
Mm-hmm.
to feed, walk, play with, and care for your pet in their familiar environment.
Okay, pet sitter. What's the alternative if that's not possible?
The other main option is using a boarding facility. For dogs, this is typically called a kennel. For cats, it's usually called a cattery.
Kennels and catteries, places where they stay while you're away.
Yes. Good ones provide safe housing, food, water, exercise, and supervision. But it can be stressful for some pets to be out of their home environment.
So planning ahead for travel is crucial. And what about traveling with your pets? Is that becoming more common?
Definitely. And for those who want to bring their companions along, the key term you need to look for is pet-friendly.
Pet-friendly accommodation.
Yes. Hotels, rental apartments, even some restaurants or cafes might advertise themselves as pet-friendly, meaning they welcome well-behaved pets, sometimes with specific rules or fees.
And the sources noted that the sheer increase in places advertising this, it's significant.
It really is. It's not just a niche business decision anymore. It's a tangible reflection of that societal shift we're talking about. Pets are increasingly seen as integrated family members whose needs and presence must be accommodated even when traveling.
Wow. Okay, so we've covered the basic vocabulary, the daily chores and responsibilities, understanding their individual personalities, and the practical health and logistical planning. That's a lot already.
It's the whole foundation of responsible companionship.
Right. And now I think we're ready to move into the true core of this deep dive. This is section 4, deconstructing the human-animal bond. We're finally asking that huge question, why? Why does this relationship matter so profoundly to us humans?
This is where we really move past the what and how and dive deep into the psychology and even the philosophy of it all. We need to try and analyze why humans seem to feel this deep, almost primal need to share their lives with animals.
Okay. So what are the main reasons the sources point to? What are the big benefits we get from this?
Well, the most frequently cited benefit, and maybe the most obvious one, is companionship.
Companionship, just having someone around.
Yes, but the quality of that presence is what's fascinating. It's described in the sources as stable, long-term, and crucially, uniquely non-judgmental.
Non-judgmental, that feels important. They don't care if you got a promotion or had a bad hair day.
Exactly. And the sources connect this benefit directly to challenges in modern human society.
How so?
Well, think about it. In a society often marked by what sociologists call social fragmentation, where family ties might be dispersed geographically, people live alone more. Loneliness is described as an epidemic. The consistent, unwavering presence of a pet can act as a vital antidote to isolation.
So the pet becomes a reliable psychological anchor.
A powerful one, yes. In potentially turbulent or lonely times, they are just there, consistent, reliable.
And central to that anchor, you mentioned unconditional love earlier.
Yes, unconditional love. This is huge. The affection they offer is typically constant. It's not dependent on your success, your appearance, your mood swings.
They're just happy you're there.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And that feeling of unconditional acceptance is profoundly therapeutic for our own self-esteem and mental well-being. The pet provides a kind of safe emotional space where you are accepted, warts and all, simply because you exist and you care for them.
That makes a lot of sense psychologically. And this isn't just a feeling, right? There are actual physical effects, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The therapeutic effects are measurable and scientifically documented. Simple physical interaction, like the repetitive motion of petting a dog or stroking a cat.
What does that do?
It has been proven in multiple studies to lower the owner's blood pressure. And perhaps even more significantly, it dramatically reduces the production of the stress hormone cortisol.
Cortisol, the one that floods our system when we're stressed out.
Exactly. So petting your pet isn't just vaguely comforting. It's a direct physiological intervention that calms your stress response system. It's real biofeedback.
Wow. So companionship, unconditional love, real stress reduction. What else?
Beyond the chemistry, there's the impact of the responsibility itself. The obligation of daily care, feeding, walking, cleaning provides a powerful sense of purpose.
A reason to get up in the morning.
Exactly. This is particularly crucial, the sources note, for demographics who might be prone to depression or social isolation, like the elderly or people living alone. The routine provides structure and meaning. It's a daily, non-negotiable reason to engage with the world, even on days when you might not feel like it.
It forces you to be needed in a way.
In a very positive way, yes. Someone is depending on you.
Okay. And all these benefits, the companionship, the stress relief, the sense of purpose, they kind of converge in a more formal application, right?
Yes, they come together in the professional field of animal-assisted therapy, or AAT.
Animal-assisted therapy, what does that involve?
This isn't just about a friendly dog visiting a hospital ward, although that's related. AAT involves using specifically trained animals deliberately as part of a therapeutic plan in clinical contexts.
Like where?
In schools for children with learning difficulties or anxiety. In rehabilitation centers, helping patients with physical therapy motivation. In hospitals, reducing patient anxiety before procedures. Even in nursing homes to combat loneliness and depression.
So it's using the power of that bond in a targeted way to improve specific outcomes.
Precisely. It demonstrates a full professional recognition of the bond's genuine healing power. It's become a respected therapeutic modality.
That's fascinating. And this whole sophisticated relationship, all these benefits, it seems to be underpinned by a really profound philosophical shift that's gained traction recently.
Yes, a fundamental shift in how we view animals. Yeah. The recognition of them as sentient beings.
Okay, I want to pause on that phrase, sentient being. It sounds important. It's more than just acknowledging they're alive, right?
Oh, much more. Sentience means they have the capacity to feel, yes, but also to perceive the world around them, and crucially, to experience things subjectively. They have inner worlds, feelings, experiences that matter to them.
They have their own point of view, essentially, not just biological machines.
Exactly. We're moving beyond seeing them as simple stimulus-response organisms to recognizing complex cognition and emotional lives.
Yeah, that's a big claim. What's the sort of evidence the sources point to for this complex sentience in, say, dogs and cats?
Well, there's a growing body of scientific evidence. Studies show complex problem-solving abilities, quite high emotional intelligence, recognizing human emotions, for example. There are ongoing debates about things like a limited theory of mind, the ability to understand that others have intentions.
So cognitive abilities, what about emotional evidence?
We see observable behaviors like apparent grief or mourning rituals when a close companion animal or human dies. Clear signs of joy, fear, anxiety, affection. Strong social bonds all point towards a rich, subjective emotional experience.
And recognizing this sentience, this inner world, it fundamentally changes things.
It has to. It transforms the animal in our moral landscape from an it, a thing, a possession, to a who,
right,
an individual being worthy of moral consideration and respect.
And we actually see this change reflected in the language people are starting to use.
Yes, very clearly. Increasingly, people are uncomfortable with the term owner. You hear it, but many now prefer to call themselves guardians or even pet parents.
Guardian implies a duty of care, not just possession. Pet parent obviously frames it very differently.
Exactly. These linguistic shifts signal a deeper perceived moral duty and place the pet firmly within the structure and emotional framework of the family.
Okay, so if we accept they are sentient beings, individuals who experience the world, that immediately throws us into some tricky ethical territory, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. Recognizing sentience forces us to confront some difficult ethical debates and controversies that arise from how we interact with and manage these beings.
Where do we start? What's a major ethical line the sources draw?
A really crucial one is the distinction between wild versus domesticated animals.
Okay. Domesticated animals are
species like dogs, cats, horses, cattle. Animals that have been genetically adapted over thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of years to live alongside and thrive in the human environment. They are biologically suited to it, to a large extent.
Right, they've co-evolved with us. But wild animals?
Wild animals, think lions, monkeys, parrots, large snakes they have evolved for and require incredibly complex, specific, often vast natural habitats. A human home, no matter how well-intentioned or even luxurious, simply cannot replicate the environment needed for their physical and psychological well-being.
So trying to keep them as pets is inherently problematic.
Highly problematic, yes. This forms the core ethical argument against keeping most exotic pets. Attempting to keep a wild animal in typical domestic captivity often causes immense physical suffering from inadequate diet or space, and profound psychological suffering due to boredom, stress, and the inability to perform natural behaviors. It fundamentally violates their needs.
So, the exotic pet trade raises huge welfare concerns. But even within the realm of domesticated pets, where they are suited to living with us, there are still ethical
Oh,
questions.
yes, significant ones. A major area highlighted is selective breeding.
Selective breeding, meaning we choose which animals get to reproduce to encourage certain traits.
Exactly. We breed animals to enhance specific traits we find desirable, maybe a certain appearance, temperament, or skill. This isn't inherently bad, it's how we got different dog breeds, for instance. But the ethical issue arises when we prioritize traits that are actively detrimental to the animal's own health and well-being.
We breed them in a way that causes them harm for our benefit.
Precisely. And the sources provided a really stark, powerful case study. The pug dog.
Ah, the pug with the very flat face.
Exactly. Pugs are bred specifically for that flat face. The technical term is brachycephaly. Many people find this appearance aesthetically pleasing, maybe cute.
But it causes problems.
Severe problems. That facial structure directly causes them to suffer from significant breathing difficulties, a condition called brachycephalic obstructive airway syndrome, or BOAS, for their entire lives. Many struggle to breathe normally, overheat easily, have sleep apnea, and often require complex, expensive surgery just to get enough oxygen comfortably.
Wow. So they're essentially bred to struggle for breath because we like the way they look.
That's the harsh reality of it. It raises profound questions about whether our aesthetic preferences should ever outweigh an animal's fundamental right to live without chronic suffering. We are, in effect, creating generations of animals dependent on veterinary intervention simply because we prefer a certain look.
And this is often driven by market demand, right? If people stopped wanting to buy them.
The detrimental breeding practices would likely decrease significantly, yes. Consumer choice plays a huge role here.
That's a really sobering example of an ethical conflict right within mainstream pet ownership.
It is. And this kind of intense ethical analysis leads us naturally to thinking about the broader movements and philosophies regarding animals in society. It's important, the sources note, to distinguish clearly between two major viewpoints: animal welfare and animal rights.
Okay, they sound similar. What's the key difference? Let's start with animal welfare.
Animal welfare is generally the position that insists on humane treatment for animals. It focuses on preventing unnecessary suffering, providing good living conditions, high standards of care, proper handling, and humane euthanasia when necessary.
So it's about treating them well while they are under human care.
Yes. Crucially, animal welfare generally accepts the use of animals for certain human purposes like food, clothing, research, companionship, provided that any suffering is minimized and the use is considered necessary or justified. Better conditions in farms, labs, homes.
Okay, humane use. Now, how does animal rights differ from that?
Animal rights is a more radical philosophical position. It argues that animals, especially sentient ones, possess inherent moral rights, much like humans do. Rights like the right to life, the right to liberty, the right not to be harmed or used as a resource.
So it's not just about treating them better, it's about not using them at all.
Fundamentally, yes. Animal rights philosophy typically advocates for an end to all forms of human use and exploitation of animals. This means ending animal agriculture, animal testing, zoos, pets, in some interpretations, viewing these practices as morally impermissible violations of their basic rights.
Which often leads proponents towards
Veganism, certainly, as a rejection of using animals for food or products. It's a fundamental belief that animals are not ours to use, period. Understanding this philosophical gap, humane use versus no use, is really key to navigating many modern ethical debates about animals.
Wow, okay, that was a deeply complex section. We've gone from the warm fuzzies of companionship to the hard edges of ethical dilemmas and philosophical stances. The bond is psychological, physical, and intensely ethical.
It really touches on core aspects of our own humanity and values.
Right. Now, let's shift gears slightly and take, maybe, a linguistic safari. Section 5. Animals in Language and Evolving Society. It's actually amazing when you stop to think about how deeply the animal world is embedded in the very fabric of the English language.
It really is. Mastering some of the common animal idioms allows for such rich, colorful shorthand in conversation. It's fluency and cultural connection.
Okay, give us a classic one. What about that phrase we use for really heavy rain?
Ah, yes. It's raining cats and dogs.
Yes.
Simply that it's raining very, very heavily. pouring down.
And the origin is a bit murky, right? Something slightly morbid.
Yeah, the sources mention the uncertain origin theories, possibly related to poor historical urban hygiene where animal carcasses might have been washed down streets in heavy rain. But
Ooh.
today, the usage is purely metaphorical and colorful, thankfully.
Definitely. Okay, another classic idiom involving a cat. When you reveal something, you shouldn't have.
To let the cat out of the bag.
Meaning you've revealed a secret. Right. Usually by accident.
Exactly. The image is great. The hidden cat is the secret. And once it escapes the bag, whoops, the truth is out.
Hard to get it back in. Okay, and one more really useful one, especially in, say, workplaces or family gatherings. The big issue nobody wants to talk about.
That's the elephant in the room.
Such a visual phrase.
Isn't it? It refers to a big, obvious, probably difficult or uncomfortable topic that everyone is acutely aware of, but strategically avoids discussing because it's awkward or might cause conflict.
Everyone's tiptoeing around the elephant. Got it. Okay, idioms are one thing. What about using animals to describe people's character?
Oh, yes. We use animals constantly in similes for human character. They provide instant character sketches.
Like if someone is working incredibly hard, just relentlessly.
They're said to work like a dog. Implies tireless effort, maybe even drudgery sometimes.
Okay, what if someone is clever, but maybe in a cunning, slightly deceitful or manipulative way?
Then they might be described as sly as a fox.
Mm-hmm.
Foxes have that reputation in folklore for being cunning tricksters.
Sly as a fox.
Right.
And for courage. Facing danger bravely.
As brave as a lion. The lion is the archetypal symbol of courage and strength.
Brave as a lion. Makes sense. Any other quick, essential ones?
Definitely. If someone is incredibly silent or inconspicuous, maybe very timid, they are as quiet as a mouse.
Quiet as a mouse. Yeah.
And if someone absolutely refuses to change their mind or compromise, they're being very inflexible.
They are.
As stubborn as a mule. Mules have a reputation, fair or not, for being obstinate.
Stubborn as a mule. Okay, those are really common. What about phrasal verbs incorporating animals?
Yes, there are quite a few useful phrasal verbs too. For example, if you decide not to do something you were planning to do, specifically because you got scared or lost your nerve at the last minute,
Yeah.
you chicken out. Chicken out, implying cowardice, like a chicken might run away.
Right. You chickened out of asking for a raise.
No.
Okay. What about kids playing wildly?
If children are playing in a really rough, noisy, maybe slightly uncontrolled way, running around inside the house perhaps,
They are set.
to horse around. To horse around suggests boisterous, maybe slightly chaotic play like young horses might act.
Horse around. Got it. Okay, so idioms, similes, phrasal verbs. Animals are all over our language.
Absolutely woven into the fabric of English expression.
Now, let's wrap up our analysis by looking at the evolving role of pets in modern society, because things are changing, right? And the sources point to one massive trend driving the market and our attitudes.
Yes. The undeniable huge trend is pet humanization.
Humanization.
Meaning, it's the sociological phenomena of treating pets, particularly dogs and cats, more and more like humans. Specifically, often, like human children.
Which leads to those terms we hear now,
Like fur baby, or people referring to themselves as mom or dad to their pets. It reflects a profound cultural and demographic shift in how we view their place in our lives.
And what's driving this? Why are we treating them so much like little humans?
What's truly fascinating, according to the source's analysis, is that this phenomenon appears to be filling an emotional void for many people in modern society.
An emotional void, how so?
As societal trends shift, more individuals are delaying marriage, living alone for longer periods, or choosing consciously to delay or even skip having human children altogether. The pet seems to gain the emotional weight and status of a fully integrated, high-status dependent family member. They feel that need for nurturing, for close connection, for family.
So the pet steps into a role that maybe a child or partner might have filled in previous generations.
To a significant extent, yes. That seems to be a major factor driving this humanization trend.
And the evidence for this shift isn't just anecdotal, is it? It's visible in the economy.
Oh, massively visible. Just look at the absolutely booming pet industry. It's colossal.
We're not just talking about basic dog food and a leash anymore.
Not even close. We're discussing gourmet, human-grade pet food, designer pet clothing and accessories, specialized health supplements and organic treats, doggy daycare centers that cost as much as child daycare, even things like pet psychologists and animal communicators.
Wow, pet psychologists.
Right. The sheer scale of the financial and emotional investment people are making proves that the status of the animal has fundamentally changed for many. The pet economy is booming because we are applying many of the same consumption patterns, care standards, and emotional considerations to our pets as we would to a human child.
It's a reflection of their elevated status in the family unit. Now, this intense connection and the therapeutic benefits we discussed earlier, it leads to some specific professional roles for animals too. We need to clarify the distinction between the two main ones.
Yes, that's important. First, you have the assistance animal.
Assistance animal, like a guide dog for the visually impaired.
Exactly. That's
Okay.
the classic example. Assistance animals, often dogs, but can be other species like miniature horses sometimes, are highly trained to perform specific vital tasks for a person with a disability. Hearing dogs, mobility assistance dogs, seizure alert dogs.
And critically, their legal status is different.
Yes. Legally, particularly under laws like the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, in the U.S., they are often viewed not as pets, but as essential medical equipment. This grants them legal access to almost all public places where ordinary pets are banned: restaurants, shops, airplanes, etc. Their role is primarily functional and task-oriented to mitigate the person's disability.
Okay. Assistance animal performs tasks, legally protected access. What's the second category?
The second main category is the therapy animal, often dogs, but can be cats, rabbits, horses too.
Therapy animal. How are they different?
Their role is almost purely psychological and emotional. They aren't typically trained to perform specific tasks related to a disability. Instead, they provide comfort, reduce stress, and offer emotional support in various settings.
Like the ones visiting hospitals or nursing homes we mentioned.
Precisely. Or visiting university students during stressful exam periods, or being present in courtrooms to comfort vulnerable witnesses, or used in counseling sessions. Their purpose is to deploy those stress-reducing, mood-boosting therapeutic benefits of the human-animal bond we discussed earlier. They provide emotional intervention rather than functional task assistance. They generally don't have the same broad public access rights as assistance animals.
Okay, that's a really clear distinction. Assistance, task-based for disability, therapy, emotional support. Got it.
And these professional roles, combined with a broader societal trend of pet humanization, they really signify a major, probably irreversible societal shift.
A shift towards what?
Towards a new understanding, really, of interspecies collaboration. We are actively harnessing the unique qualities of animals and the power of our bond with them, specifically focused on improving human psychological and physical well-being. Animals are no longer just peripheral to our lives. For many, they're absolutely central to our emotional landscapes and support systems.
Wow. That was quite a journey. We started with just the sound of a bark or a meow.
And we ended up discussing deep ethical questions, philosophical shifts, and the future of interspecies collaboration in society.
It really shows the depth hidden beneath the surface of something seemingly simple like having a pet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We've really traversed the levels, from the essential vocabulary of basic care and responsibility, level 1 and 2, feeding, walking, cleaning, then through describing their individual personality and making responsible choices about acquiring them, level 3, playful, loyal, shelter versus breeder, all the way up to analyzing the profound psychological benefits, the complex ethical considerations, and the huge sociological trends, levels 4 and 5.
And the power of covering all that, hopefully, is that you, the listener, now have the language and the framework to engage in conversations about animals that can be as simple or as profound as you want them to be. You can confidently describe your mischievous puppy's latest sock-stealing antics using the right words. Or you can engage in a really thoughtful discussion about, say, the ethical complexity surrounding breeds like the pug and their inherent health problems. You have the tools now.
And that sophisticated analysis we touched on, pet humanization, the booming multi-billion-dollar pet industry, it really does leave us with one final, quite provocative thought to carry forward, doesn't it?
What's that?
Well, the scale of our emotional and financial investment in pets today is absolutely unprecedented in human history. So the question becomes, how do we, as conscious guardians, using that preferred term, ensure that this immense connection, this huge investment, ultimately serves the animal's true behavioral and biological needs, their animalness, if you like,
As opposed
to primarily just gratifying our own human aesthetic desires like the flat face of the pug, or solely fulfilling our own emotional voids, perhaps by treating them exactly like human babies without regard for their species-specific needs.
That's the balancing act. How do we ensure our love and care truly benefit them according to their nature and not just make us feel good?
That's the fundamental moral balancing act of modern companionship, I think. It's the question we need to keep asking ourselves as this bond deepens even further in society.
A profound question indeed for modern life. Thank you so much for guiding us through this incredibly rich and complex topic.
My pleasure. Is a fascinating deep dive. Thank you, and goodbye, everyone. Okay, let's unpack this.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into something complex, but also, deeply rewarding. We're talking about responsible pet guardianship.
Yeah, and it's definitely way beyond just like remembering to feed them and take them for walks.
Right. The sources we looked at, they really frame responsible ownership as, well, almost a specialized field. It demands real knowledge of medicine, behavior, even tech.
Exactly. So our goal today isn't just a quick rundown of basic care. We want to equip you, the listener, with the kind of advanced vocabulary and the thinking needed to be a truly exceptional guardian for your animal.
Our mission really is to shift how you might think about the commitment involved. So we'll be diving deep into things like proactive health strategies, some pretty modern safety measures, and the psychology behind that bond we have with our animals.
Before we even get to, say, vet visits, we need to talk about the scope of this commitment. The sources brought up those first decisions. Identifying the common pets, dogs, cats, sure, but also fish, birds, hamsters.
And the young ones, puppies and kittens.
Right. And that immediately throws up a big ethical question. Where do these companions actually come from?
That's such a critical point, often just skipped over. Choosing between, say, a breeder or deciding to adopt from an animal shelter, that's really the start of the whole guardianship journey.
And they're quite different paths, aren't they?
Oh, definitely. If you go the route of a reputable breeder, well, the responsibility there involves understanding things like genetics, specific breed health issues, hip problems in some big dogs, or breathing issues in those short-nosed breeds.
Brachycephalic, is that the term?
That's the one. And then the shelter option, that's a whole other kind of commitment.
Yeah, adopting from an animal shelter. It's often about giving a second chance, which is wonderful, but it takes patience, right?
A lot of patience. You might be getting an animal with an unknown background. They could have behavioral issues, maybe need some specific rehab work before they can really, truly feel at home.
So, okay, with that foundation laid, what's the plan for today? Where are we heading?
All right, so building on that, we're tackling three big areas. First up is what we're calling the health imperative. Think preventative care, specialist vets, that kind of thing.
Okay, health first.
Makes sense. Then second, we'll get into advanced safety measures. This covers everything from hidden dangers in the house to gear and the microchip.
Good. Safety's huge. And
Finally, we explore the real nuances of training and the emotional bond, looking at effective methods like positive reinforcement and also the psychological side, why pets matter so much to us, and even how we handle the tough stuff like loss.
Got it. So by the end of this, hopefully you'll have a really solid, comprehensive picture of what being a well-informed guardian actually means.
All right, let's jump into section 1 then, the health imperative. You mentioned establishing a relationship with the healthcare system before there's a problem.
Exactly. That's crucial. Your main point of contact is the vet, the veterinarian. But what's interesting now is how specialized the field is becoming.
You mean like doctors for humans?
Yeah.
Specialists? Precisely. You've got board-certified veterinary specialists in cardiology, cancer care, eye issues, even dentistry. So your regular vet's clinic might handle the basics, but for something complex, they'll refer you to a specialized animal hospital.
Ah, okay. So the clinic is for the routine stuff, the regular checkup, general wellness.
Yeah. And the animal hospital, that's often where you find the high-tech gear CT scanners, MRIs. Plus, they usually have highly trained veterinary technicians, think specialized nurses for animals who handle complex tasks, like monitoring anesthesia during surgery.
It's a whole system, really, not just one vet.
It's a multi-tiered system, absolutely. And that structure really supports the core idea here, proactive care.
Right. You mentioned proactive versus reactive. Reactive is just calling when the pet's obviously sick.
Exactly. Proactive care is the foundation. It's built around that annual or maybe even twice yearly physical exam, even when your pet seems totally fine.
So what makes that annual visit more than just a quick look over? What's the deep dive part?
Well, it's not just a weigh-in. The sources really emphasize screening tools. Vets use something called the body condition score, the BCS.
BCS. What's that involve?
It's more than just the number on the scale. The vet actually feels along the ribs, checks the fat covering. It gives a much better sense of whether a pet is overweight or too thin than just weight alone.
Okay, that makes sense. Like how BMI isn't the whole story for humans.
Exactly. And it's vital because pet obesity, just like in people, is linked to all sorts of chronic problems, diabetes, arthritis, you name it.
What else happens in that checkup?
A big one is a thorough check of the mouth. Dental health gets overlooked so often, but the sources stress that sometimes pets need what's called a COHAT,
COHAT.
comprehensive oral assessment and treatment. It usually means anesthesia, so they can do a proper cleaning, check under the gum line, and deal with any diseased teeth that need removing.
Wow, okay. So preventative care is really looking at the whole picture: diet, teeth,
And of course, the big one, vaccinations.
the shots.
They're absolutely essential protection. And we need to differentiate a bit here. There are core vaccines, things like rabies, which is usually required by law anyway, and distemper parvo for dogs, or the FERCP for cats. These are pretty standard.
Okay, core vaccines. But you said differentiate.
Yeah. Then there are non-core vaccines. These depend more on the pet's lifestyle.
Lifestyle, like what? Give me an example.
Okay, so think about the canine influenza vaccine, or Bordetella, that's kennel cough. If your dog goes to daycare or boarding kennels or even busy dog parks, the risk is higher, so those shots make sense.
But if your dog's mostly a homebody,
Then maybe they aren't necessary, see? It moves you, the guardian, from just following a schedule to actually having a conversation with your vet, making informed choices based on real risk.
and for puppies and kittens, it's even more intense at the start, right?
Oh, yeah. That first year involves a whole vaccine schedule, multiple shots spaced out over weeks or months to make sure their immunity builds up properly.
Okay, so regular checkups, tailored vaccines, that's the preventative side. But, pets still get sick sometimes, even with the best plans.
Absolutely. And that's where the guardian needs to be a really sharp observer. You have to spot those subtle signs.
Why subtle? Don't they just, cry or limp?
Sometimes, but animals have this deep instinct to hide illness or pain. It's a survival thing from the wild, don't show weakness. So if your pet stops eating or drinking for more than a day, yeah, that's obvious, but often it's changes in behavior.
Like being lethargic. That word came up, just really tired, no energy.
Lethargy is a big one, but you need to know your specific pet. For cats, a classic sign is hiding. Suddenly they're invisible, tucked away in a closet or under the bed, avoiding everyone. That shift towards isolation, huge red flag for a cat.
Interesting. What about dogs?
With dogs, maybe it's panting heavily when they haven't exercised, or they suddenly don't want to jump on the couch, or they get weirdly grumpy. You need to know their normal baseline behavior to even notice these small changes.
So you spot these signs, you go to the vet. What happens then?
Good
Diagnostics, right?
Right. The vet will investigate. They might draw blood for a complete blood count, a CBC to look for infection, or run a chemistry panel to check how the organs are doing. Understanding these basic tests is part of being informed.
And if they find something, treatment usually means pet medicine.
Often, yes. Pills or maybe a liquid. And the sources are pretty clear. Getting that medicine into the pet, that can be a challenge in itself.
Yeah, I can imagine.
There are strategies, hiding pills and treats. They make special pill pockets now, or mixing liquid into a tiny bit of really tasty food, but making sure they actually get the full dose, that's on the owner. Compliance is key.
Okay, so specialists, diagnostics, maybe long-term meds.
Yeah.
This sounds like it could get, expensive.
It absolutely can. Vet visits, especially emergency ones, or those needing specialists at an animal hospital, can run into serious money. A responsible guardian has to face that financial reality up front. We could be talking thousands for, say, a bad break or managing a chronic illness.
Which is where pet insurance comes in, I guess.
Exactly. It's basically a health plan for your pet, helps cover those big, unexpected vet bills. But just like with human insurance, you really have to read the fine print.
How so? What should people look for?
Well, is it an accident-only plan? Or a comprehensive one that covers illness, too? What's the deductible, the bit you pay first? Are there annual limits on how much they'll pay out? You need to compare plans carefully.
Do your homework, basically.
Definitely. And some people, instead of insurance, set up a dedicated savings account like a pet wellness fund.
Self-insuring.
Kind of. It takes discipline to save, but you avoid monthly premiums and the headache of claims potentially being denied for pre-existing conditions, which happens.
Right. Okay. So summing up this whole health section, it's about being proactive, regular checkups, smart vaccination, watching closely for signs, and having a financial plan, maybe involving pet insurance for when things do go wrong.
That's a great summary. It's sophisticated, ongoing care.
Got it. A solid health plan. Now let's shift gears to section 2, safety measures. Because like you said, preventing the accident is way better than treating it, starting inside the house.
Right. First job, pet-proof the house. The sources really push this idea of seeing your home from the animal's perspective. What can they reach? What might they chew on or swallow? Especially important for puppies and kittens, obviously.
We all know the classic one, chocolate and dogs. But why is it bad?
It contains something called theobromine. Dogs just can't process it efficiently like humans do. It builds up and becomes toxic, affecting their nervous system, their heart. It really needs to be kept totally out of reach, high up in a cupboard.
Okay, theobromine. Good to know. What else is lurking in the kitchen?
Oh, plenty. A really nasty one is xylitol. It's an artificial sweetener in tons of stuff, sugar-free gum, some peanut butters, baked goods. It's incredibly toxic to dogs. Causes a massive, dangerous drop in blood sugar, can lead to liver failure very quickly.
Wow. Xylitol. Never would have guessed peanut butter.
You have to check labels. Also, grapes, raisins, onions, garlic, all big no's for dogs and cats. Kidney issues, gut problems.
And then what about our own stuff, like medicine cabinets?
Huge danger zone. Human painkillers like ibuprofen or even common cold meds with acetaminophen highly poisonous to pets can cause irreversible organ damage. All those cleaning chemicals under the sink, human meds, they need to be locked up securely.
Makes sense. Anything specific for cat owners?
Yes, definitely poisonous houseplants.
Oh.
Lilies are a big one, incredibly toxic to cats. Even just chewing a leaf or drinking the vase water can be fatal. The responsibility is totally on the owner to check every single plant in the house and get rid of any dangerous ones.
So cat proofing isn't a one-time job, it's constant vigilance.
Absolutely. Environment awareness.
Okay, house secured. What about outside? Especially for dogs needing their walk. What's the essential gear?
The absolute basics are the leash and the collar. The leash, that long strap, is your lifeline, really. Keeps them safe from cars, stops them running off, prevents them bothering other people or animals.
But just any old collar and leash? Or does the type matter?
Oh, the type matters a lot. A simple flat collar is fine for holding tags and for dogs that don't pull much. But if your dog pulls hard, you might look at a martingale collar, which tightens slightly to prevent slipping off, or, often better, a chest harness.
A harness instead of a collar. Why?
A harness spreads the pressure across the chest and shoulders. It avoids potential damage to the trachea, that windpipe area that constant pulling on a collar can cause. Plus, they're often harder to escape from, safer, generally better for control and training.
What about those retractable leashes? They seem popular.
They are, but honestly, most trainers and sources we looked at aren't fans. They can cause nasty rope burns, get tangled easily, and kind of teach the dog that pulling gets them more freedom, which is the opposite of what you want. A standard fixed-length leash, maybe 6 feet, gives much better control and communication.
Okay, good tip. Now the collar's other job, holding the ID tag.
Critical. That little metal tag is the fastest way to get your lost pet back. It absolutely must have the pet's name, sure, but the non-negotiable. Your current phone number. Clear and easy to read. Low-tech, high-speed solution.
But tags can fall off, collars can break or slip off.
Exactly. Which is why technology offers the ultimate backup, the microchip solution.
The microchip, explain that again, it's tiny.
Tiny, like a grain of rice. It's an inert little electronic chip. The vet uses a sterile needle, kind of like giving a shot, to place it just under the skin, usually between the shoulder blades. The sources say it's quick, pretty much painless for the pet.
Okay. And what does it do? How does it work?
It doesn't transmit anything. It just holds a unique number, like a serial number. That number is then linked to your contact info, name, address, phone in a secure national database.
Ah, so the owner has to register it.
Crucial step. You must register the chip with your details, and this is important. Keep that information updated if you ever move or change your phone number. An unregistered chip is useless.
Makes sense. So how does it help if the pet gets lost?
If someone finds your lost pet and takes them to an animal shelter or a vet's clinic, standard procedure is to scan them with a special scanner. It reads that unique number off the chip.
Okay.
Then they contact the database registry associated with that chip number, get your contact details, and call you. Boom. Reunion. It's like a permanent, unlosable ID tag. Massively increases the chances of getting your pet back compared to just a collar tag alone.
Wow. Okay. That's a game changer.
Totally. So real safety is layers, right? Thorough pet proofing at home, the right gear like a harness and fixed leash outside, the ID tag, and then that microchip as the ultimate safety net.
That safety focus flows really nicely into Section 3, training.
Yeah.
Because a well-trained pet, one that listens especially to that command, is inherently safer.
Absolutely. And the first thing the sources do is reframe what training even means.
Yeah.
It's not about being the boss or asserting dominance, that whole alpha theory. It's pretty much debunked now in modern animal behavior.
So if it's not about control, what is it about?
It's about communication. Clear, two-way communication. Building trust. Teaching your dog how to navigate our human world safely and happily. It results in a better relationship for everyone.
Teaching them our language,
Yeah.
in a way, and the most vital words.
The absolute core safety commands are still sit, stay, and come. Sit for manners, stay for impulse control, and come for, well, saving their life, potentially.
That come command feels like the most critical one for safety.
It really is the ultimate safety net. If your dog bolts out the door or slips their leash near traffic or even just gets too far ahead in an off-leash park, a reliable instant recall can prevent disaster.
And getting it reliable takes practice, I assume, not just shouting, come once.
Loads of practice. And you have to proof it. That means practicing it in different places with more and more distractions around so you know it works even when things are chaotic. That's how you build reliability for those high-stakes moments.
Okay, so how do we achieve that reliability? What's the best method?
The science is overwhelmingly clear on this now. The best, most effective, and kindest method is positive reinforcement, sometimes called R plus say.
Positive reinforcement. Define that for us simply.
Okay, so positive reinforcement, it's basically rewarding your pet immediately when they do the thing you want them to do. That reward makes them more likely to do it again.
So dog sits, gets a reward instantly.
Exactly. The timing is key. The reward has to happen right away so they connect it with the action.
And what kind of reward works best?
It needs to be something the pet genuinely values. Usually that's a combination of enthusiastic verbal praise, a happy, good dog, paired with a high-value treat.
A treat, just any old biscuit.
Well, a treat is basically a small bit of tasty food. But high value is important. For easy stuff, maybe the regular kibble works. But for learning something hard or working around distractions, you need something really good. Tiny bits of cheese, cooked chicken, special training treats. The tougher the task, the better the paycheck needs to be.
Right, makes sense. Pay them well for hard work.
Exactly. And this method lets you do something called shaping. You break down a complex trick or behavior into tiny little steps and reward each small success along the way. It builds confidence.
So it's patient, step by step.
Very patient. It's all about setting the pet up for success and building positive associations. This whole process, built on reward and understanding, it massively strengthens the wonderful bond between you and your pet.
It sounds much better than old school yank and crank methods.
Night and day. Those methods often create fear and anxiety. Positive reinforcement builds trust and enthusiasm.
Does training also cover things beyond basic commands, like problem behaviors?
Oh, absolutely. Advanced training often involves behavior modification. Think about something like separation anxiety. A dog isn't being bad by destroying the house when left alone. They're having a genuine panic attack.
So you can't just punish that.
No, that would make it worse. Dealing with that requires specific protocols, like counter-conditioning and desensitization, often with guidance from a certified professional dog trainer or behaviorist. It's about addressing the underlying emotion, not just the symptom.
Okay, so training, whether it's basic commands or tackling bigger issues, it takes real effort.
It definitely requires time, consistency, and patience, especially teaching those daily care verbs, getting them comfortable with routines like to walk nicely on leash, to play appropriately, to feed calmly, handling grooming, or to clean muddy paws. But the payoff is huge.
It's just
That strong, wonderful bond. It truly shows that you and your pet are a team working together, understanding each other.
that idea of a team, that bond, it lands perfectly into our last section. The deeper connection. Why do we do all this? The expense, the time, the worry. What's the real payoff?
Well, the biggest why, according to all the sources, is the companionship. Pets offer this incredibly powerful thing, unconditional love.
Unconditional love. What does that really mean in this context?
It means they love you no matter what. Bad day at work, didn't shower, snapped at them unfairly, they still greet you like you're the best thing ever. That level of pure acceptance without judgment, it's pretty unique, and it brings enormous joy.
Yeah, the greeting at the door is something special.
Isn't it? And they are amazing companions. A companion is defined as a friend who's just there with you, a constant presence. And that makes them a potent cure for loneliness, especially for people living alone, or maybe seniors. Their routine, their need for care, it provides structure, purpose.
But it goes beyond just companionship at home, doesn't it? Pets have actual jobs sometimes.
They do. The sources touched on the more formal roles. You have certified service animals, highly trained to help people with physical disabilities. Then there are emotional support animals, or ESAs, whose presence provides comfort for people dealing with mental health challenges. Just having them near can be incredibly stabilizing.
The benefits aren't just like in our heads either. There are real physical and mental pluses, right?
Oh, absolutely tangible benefits, physically. Just the simple necessity of having to walk the dog every day forces the owner into regular, moderate exercise. Great for cardiovascular health, weight
Good
management.
point. Gets you off the couch.
Definitely. And mentally, the research is really solid here. The simple act of petting a dog or cat, feeling their fur, listening to a cat purring, it's been shown to physically lower your blood pressure. It actually reduces stress hormones like cortisol in your bloodstream.
Wow. So that calm feeling isn't imagined, it's physiological.
It is. Having a calm, loyal animal companion around is literally a biological stress reliever.
Plus, they're just fun, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Let's not forget the simple joy. Their playful antics, sometimes their mischievous moments. Even when they're being incredibly lazy, curled up asleep, they make us laugh, they pull us into the present moment, they find fun in simple things.
And for families, there's another benefit.
Yes, teaching responsibility, especially for kids. Having to help care for another living being, remembering to feed them, helping to clean their space, learning to be gentle, it builds empathy, consistency, understanding consequences. Huge life lessons.
Okay, so the connection is deep, the benefits are real.
Yeah,
But there's a flip side, isn't there? A really tough one.
there is. And responsible guardianship means facing it head on. The hardest part, the reality of loss.
Yeah. It's the unspoken agreement we make, I suppose.
It is. Pets, sadly, have much shorter lives than we do. So almost every single person who truly loves a pet will eventually experience the pain of losing that pet.
The language around it is often quite gentle, isn't it? People say the pet passed away or simply died. But losing a pet seems like the common phrase.
It is, and the grief that follows. It's real, it's powerful, and it's completely valid. The sources really stress this. You're losing a family member. Society sometimes dismisses pet loss, but the bond is profound, and the grief needs to be acknowledged.
It often involves really difficult decisions too, like euthanasia.
That can be the hardest, most loving decision a guardian makes, choosing a peaceful end for an animal that's suffering from an incurable illness or debilitating old age. It's a final act of compassion, but incredibly painful.
How do people cope with that grief? How do they remember their pets?
People find many meaningful ways. Keeping photos displayed, maybe commissioning a portrait, some plant a tree or a special bush in their garden as a living memorial. Keeping ashes in an urn is also very common. It's about finding ways to honor that relationship and keep the memory alive.
Sounds incredibly hard.
It is incredibly hard. But the consensus from the sources and from anyone who's been through it is usually the same.
Which is?
That it's worth it. That final sadness, as deep as it is, doesn't cancel out the years of joy, the affectionate companionship, the laughter, the unconditional love. The whole journey makes the inevitable ending bearable in the long run. It underscores the depth of the bond. Hashtag tag 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 outro.
Wow. Okay, that really brings our deep dive on responsible pet guardianship full circle.
Yeah.
From the first choices to the final goodbyes. So what does this all mean? Where does this leave us?
Well, it means we've hopefully moved beyond just the surface level. We started right at the beginning thinking about the choice between an animal shelter adoption versus a breeder and knowing the difference in needs between, say, a puppy or kitten and an older animal.
Right, the foundation.
Yeah.
Then we built on that with the health imperative. We talked about preventative care being key, the regular checkup, knowing about things like the body condition score, understanding the rules of the vet's clinic versus the animal hospital, and planning financially, maybe with pet insurance.
Exactly. And we linked health directly to proactive safety measures, really digging into pet proofing against specific dangers like theobromine in chocolate or xylitol, choosing the right gear like a harness instead of just a collar, using an ID tag, and crucially, getting that microchip implanted and registered.
The layers of safety. And then we moved into training, not as control, but as communication, using positive reinforcement, teaching those core commands like sit, stay, come, maybe tackling issues like separation anxiety, all to build that wonderful bond.
A bond rooted in that unconditional love we talked about. We explored the mental and physical health benefits for us humans, the joy they bring, and finally acknowledged the responsibility of navigating the inevitable grief when we lose them.
So the big takeaway is that real guardianship. It's comprehensive, it's informed, it requires knowledge across health, safety, behavior, and emotional intelligence. It's about having the right language and understanding to be a true guardian.
Precisely. You're equipped now.
Okay, so building on that, we talked a lot about current best practices, especially with the safety tech, like the microchip. It's fantastic for identification if a pet gets lost and scanned.
Yeah, the microchip and the ID tag are the gold standard right now for getting pets home.
But technology doesn't stand still, does it? We track our own fitness, our sleep, everything with wearables.
True. The Internet of Things is expanding everywhere.
So here's something to think about as we close out this deep dive. We've established the importance of current ID methods. But what's next? What other kinds of emerging tech might start to play a role? Could we see things like wearable monitors tracking a pet's vital signs in real time, alerting us to problems sooner, maybe even more advanced GPS tracking linked directly to vet records, or perhaps even technology trying to better interpret animal communication?
Interesting thought. How could tech further enhance that bond or improve safety beyond what we have now?
Exactly. What innovations might be on the horizon that could push responsible guardianship even further, maybe making some of these challenges we discussed a little bit easier? Something for you to explore on your own.